Welcome, Muppet to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Katherine.
And tonight we are taking a break from Pixar because, quite honestly, Mike and I did not feel like watching Cars.
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I like Cars.
Legit haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Don't care to, but I will have some free time at some point also.
Yeah.
So tonight, as the title indicates, we're going to be discussing we each picked one of our standout Muppet episodes from the Muppet Show, which was released in its almost entirety. 98% of the episodes have been released in their entirety on Disney Plus. So very excited. However, I turned it on and I got a little pop-up sign that went for like 12 seconds and I never watched past that. So am I guessing that the Muppets actually don't appear on Disney Plus and it's just that thing? It's a 12-second little video beforehand?
Yeah, they completely blocked every single episode. They don't show any episodes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been totally canceled.
I haven't heard anything about like anything else in the world other than that and Dr. Seuss this week, so it must be true. I kid, of course. We have had so much fun introducing the kids to the Muppet Show in the last 2 weeks. It is legitimately like we're ordering out food or whatever, which actually we end up having to do tonight because I got to go grocery shopping tomorrow. And, we're eating our subs and it's like, what do you want to do? Let's watch more Muppet Show.
Aww.
And it's so easy to jump around. It's like one of these things you don't watch it from start to finish. You can jump around without really there's no loss of continuity because of it.
Right.
And it's a bit of a trip watching the changes in the intro. Yep.
Yeah, the original first season intro is not the one people remember.
No.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they got rid of that. To introduce our guest star is what I'm here to. I was like, you just introduced the guest star. You're introducing your guest star now, and in about 5 seconds, you're going to be introducing them again.
Right.
It's unnecessary.
But you know what? Part of the thing was that they showed you like a little highlight, like a quickie little highlight reel of it, which I'm fine with. It was interesting with the Joel Grey episode because it's like they're playing Comedy Tonight, which was a number he had nothing to do with on that show. But they're showing him doing his veal coming stuff. Yeah, it was funny because, and we're going to get into this because I know Catherine's talking to season 5 episode. That season where they introduced the guest star with Pops, as opposed to I think it's seasons 2 through 4, Scooter.
Right. He tells them that they have so many seconds in the dressing room, and then they added Pops, and they come in through the back door.
Right. Right. And then the first one, it's just Kermit comes out. It's the Muppet Show with special guest star Juliet Prowse.
Yep.
Avery Schreiber. Yeah.
And also one of the things they did at the end of the episodes in the first season was that they created a puppet of the guest star and presented it to them at the end of the episode.
Which is weird because they kind of did that in the episode that you're going to be talking about, Katherine.
Sort of, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. So let's talk about this. Before we get into our individuals, there was one I wanted to kind of talk about together because, it being Geek Salad and all, we would be remiss if we didn't discuss It's the Muppet Show with special guest stars, the stars from Star Wars. Yay!
Yeah, that episode was released about just under 2 months before Empire Strikes Back came out.
And probably filmed 8 to 10 months before it came out, which means that they were still in England filming it.
Right.
And Frank Oz was ready for available.
And of course, they filmed the Muppet Show in England, so it was all convenient.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so much fun, and it's like you can tell Mark Hamill and his cousin Luke Skywalker are having an absolute blast.
Oh yeah,
doing this episode.
he gets to strut his goofball self and do a little bit like, you know, when he does this, tries to do the singing, you can see it's like he's strutting his voice acting pipes that are going to do him a great bit of good starting in the like early 90s.
Yeah,
In the 90s, exactly.
with Darth Gonzo.
No one will guess who I am.
Excuse me, that's Darth Nader.
Darth
Oh,
Vader.
sorry.
Yeah.
No one will ever know.
Who's your tailor? I love that outfit.
Yeah, they had a rule with the Muppets was that a running gag, you could do it 3 times, then you had to drop it.
Right. Except for the episode I watched tonight with the oh good lord, why can't I remember who hosted that episode? Oh, it was the Dudley Moore episode. They had no, it wasn't Dudley Moore. I think it was the Rita Moreno episode, the running gag with the phone.
Oh, yeah.
And they did that like 5 times.
And what was it? The Elton John episode where the Swedish chef was chasing the chicken.
The chicken.
Yep.
And they did that through at least 3 or 4 sketches, and then the chicken was chasing the Swedish chef.
Yeah.
It's just the show brought back so much joy to me. It's just the jokes. If it wasn't the Muppets doing these jokes, I would roll my eyes. I would ask you to leave because, you know, they're really corny jokes. But for some reason, you know, when you put felt and eyes on it, it works.
They're working the full vaudeville, having a great time with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about corny jokes? Go to any single episode of Veterinarian's Hospital. Otherwise known as the dad joke.
The dad joke. But my favorite part about Veterinary Hospital is tune in next time, and they all jump.
Oh, there is the Gene Kelly episode where the announcer falls out of the ceiling.
I'm gonna watch that one now.
Yeah.
We specifically picked the Rita Moreno episode tonight because Autumn wanted to watch Marvin Suggs and his magnificent Muppaphone.
The amazing Muppaphone.
Sorry.
Not magnificent, it's amazing. And that is, of course, Rita Moreno is, that was where she got the E of her EGOT. Was
true.
her appearance on The Muppet Show.
Yes.
Ooh.
Little known piece of trivia. Kurt, I agree with you. Corny jokes can work if they have the right delivery.
And the Muppets almost always have the right delivery.
Well, but I think that with the Muppets, I don't want to say they get a pass because there has been bad Muppet product. Katherine is our resident expert. Can you will agree with that, right? There is bad Muppet product.
Some of it is less than stellar sometimes.
Okay. I'm just thinking like the stuff when they're like trying to phase out, you know, go away from Kermit and using oh god, what was the name of that character? He was like the catfish.
Oh, okay.
From Muppets Tonight.
Oh.
Was it Alfonso?
No.
I didn't catch a whole lot of Muppets Tonight.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure somebody will know what it is, and you know, throw up a comment if you know who that catfish was.
Well, Kermit wasn't originally going to be the host of the Muppet Show. It was going to be Newt, who ended up being the band director.
That's crazy too, because the band director only shows up at the end. Right,
but that was he was originally going to be the host, and then they ended up going with Kermit.
Muppets Tonight host was Clifford.
Oh, yeah. Clifford hadn't been invented during the Muppet Show era.
Yeah.
No. It is funny though when you see like the seeds of certain characters, like when we were watching the Dudley Moore episode tonight. Gonzo is quoting Shelley and disarming a bomb. And Dudley Moore's musical Robot comes in and distracts him, and the bomb blows up and blows out half the theater. So now Dudley Moore's going to play piano with the Muppet Band behind them, and they're all wearing hard hats because every time Animal does a drum solo, parts of the roof fall out. But the rats that they show dancing are like, they're very much of the Rizzo design before they articulated the face a little more.
Yep.
Because Rizzo was Rizzo introduced before Great Muppet Caper, or was
no,
that
he was.
first?
Yeah, no, he's in some of it, but a little, very, very subtly, I think.
Okay.
Right. I mean, his big coming out party, if you will, I think is Muppet Christmas Carol. I think that's like his big.
Yeah, he's got a pretty decent part in Great Muppet Caper, but
right. But I don't think they hadn't really they hadn't found that magic potion of pairing him with Gonzo.
Right.
That two pair is brilliant beyond belief.
They're fantastic. Yeah. They're fantastic, and that pairing, along with Gonzo and Camilla, has endured for over 40 years now.
Yeah, the whole chicken thing was an improv, actually.
Yeah,
there was Gonzo was auditioning a dancing chicken act, and he kept bringing in a bunch, was auditioning live chickens, and they had one come in and was sort of doing moves, and they sort of go with it, and then Dave Goelz just totally improvs, turns around to the camera and goes, "Yeah, she's okay. Nice legs, though." And that was the beginning of Gonzo's chicken obsession.
Wow, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So I also love too that some of the characters that we get out of this too throughout this as the seasons go. We're introduced to Scooter in season 2, New Zealand in season 3, I believe.
I have to check.
All right, because I remember he showed up in the Muppet movie, and I was astounded because they had just introduced the character.
Well, I mean, Beaker wasn't introduced until season 2 as well.
That's right. Actually, I don't think either of them were. I don't think Muppet Labs was.
No, I think Muppet in first season Muppet Labs was it, but it was just Bunsen Honeydew. I think they brought in Beaker in season 2.
Yeah.
To be his foil.
Yeah, it really works though. He needed an assistant to blow up repeatedly.
Oh my god. The episode where Bunsen Honeydew is like, we're going to make microscopes irrelevant, and Beaker just throws one. That's coming out of your pay, Beaker. And they grew the germ, they enlarged the germ to study it. And Autumn is sitting there watching it like, can you imagine what like the workshop must have been like? Like, we have to come up with a germ. What are we gonna make this thing look like? And I'm like, honey, they were sniffing so much glue and were done so much Benzedrine. Are you kidding me? Of course they came up with this in like 20 minutes.
No, they had like some really geniuses in the shop. Like Dave Goelz was originally one of the Muppet designers and builders before they were like put him behind a Muppet and put him on screen.
Well, I think that's the story for most of the Muppeteers.
Some of them, obviously, Jim Henson, Frank Oz were already established by the time they did this. Steve Whitmire went to New York to audition to be on Captain Kangaroo, and they weren't, really taking puppeteers, and he ended up on the Muppet Show.
Huh. It's interesting. You know what's funny? Now that we have this in like full HD, it is interesting now seeing the cuts. All right, which one of you was that? Was that Mike?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
That was my phone.
Like, seeing the cuts in the foam, like I noticed this tonight. Animal looks up, and not only can you see where the head meets the neck, but you can see the glue line. And it's like all this stuff that people didn't really mention all that much when we didn't notice it in the 70s. Again, because we're sticking glue and taking handfuls of Benzedrine.
It was the 80s. We were watching it on a 13-inch cathode ray tube television.
Exactly. Don't put your foot through that or you'll lose it. I don't know why that was a warning I used to get, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now it is also funny too, I kind of alluded to this week's controversy about the Muppets. And the weird thing is that people are freaking out over a 12-second little like tile card that just lasts for 12 seconds. And we play a game with that.
That's only on some of the episodes.
It's only on certain episodes. And because I am a good parent, Scarlett will sit there and watch it and I'll go, okay, now what justified the card in this episode?
And usually it's pretty obvious what justifies the card.
It's almost incredible. If Crazy Harry shows up, I think it almost warrants it. For reasons I will not go into, but Crazy Harry is very much a product of that late 70s mindset.
Yeah.
If you will. But it's just funny because people are losing their minds over that. It's like nobody's addressing that, Zoot is so obviously hooked on heroin.
He's just stoned all the time.
He's a fan of Charlie Parker, He loves the saxophone. He's just, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it tonight, man. I got to go find a fix.
Zoot skipped a groove again.
But yeah, so I mean, the Star Wars episode we talked about, it's so much fun. I mean, I think like the most unnecessarily corny thing about it was watching Chewbacca dance, because I just feel bad for Peter Mayhew being like, okay, can you do a soft shoe in that? No. First of all,
him and R2.
Oh, R2. It's just do circles.
Yeah.
Kenny Baker's probably in the back somewhere. Do you need me? No, we don't. We've got the remote control for this one, Ken.
Well,
Craft
one of the other
services
things
over there.
One of the other the bits I love from that episode is the opening number with the ram lam ding dong, ram lam ding ding dong, ram lam 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 ding dong, ram lam lam.
Oh, it's amazing how. Well, first of all, it's amazing they got the rights to all of this stuff in the first place. I think when rights weren't nearly as coveted, and
also they went for a lot of older songs mostly.
They did, but it is interesting how much Broadway influence the first two seasons had.
Oh yeah,
we watched the Zero Mostel episode, and we're watching that, and Autumn and I are like, God, Zero looks like hell. So I pulled up Wikipedia to see exactly how long after this episode aired that he died. He died prior to the episode airing.
Oh, man.
Wow. Yeah. He'd filmed it. Maybe survived another 6 months and then dropped dead because,
Wow.
I mean, Zero Mostel always looked like he sweat butter, though. The Muppet scandal was so last week. Now it's Dr. Seuss. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Kurt. Yeah, no, we're on Dr. Seuss now because
it is, and Dr. Seuss's estate has done this voluntarily.
I saw someone posted on Facebook. Cat in the Hat has been canceled. No, Cat in the Hat is still just very fine. It's 5 or 6 of the way more 6 of the really really obscure books.
6 books that were already out of print.
Yeah, If I Ran the Zoo is one of the most known of those 6.
Right. But it's just funny because, you can list those off. Okay, so just name the book that got banned. Cat in the Hat. Nope. Lorax. Why are you upset about the Lorax? I mean, I'm amazed that you think it shouldn't be taken off bookshelves because it promotes environmentalism.
Right.
Get your messages right.
Sneetches are fine.
I ain't fur to begin it, and if I ain't to get it, fur it.
By the way, getting back to the Muppet Show.
Yeah,
can we just say what was it? February 15th was Christopher Reeves. February 22nd was Linda Carter, and February 29th was the cast of Star Wars. What a massive 3-week that was! I mean, that's just a 1, 2, 3 punch. That's wow.
I'm just trying to think. Well, it would have been shot in 78, 79, right? Because I can imagine Christopher Reeve. Well, actually, Christopher Reeve might have been doing pickup for Superman at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
And Superman would have been released by the time it aired.
Right. Exactly. So you know what? Maybe he was in. He still would have been in London though, because they're working on Superman 2.
Yeah, Superman 2 was 81, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
he would have been in London anyway, and I'm sure that who can we get that's in England? Okay, we can't get them. Who wants a free trip to England?
Yep.
So let's talk real quick about the episodes that we chose to discuss tonight and why we picked them. So, Catherine, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I went with one of my favorites is Marty Feldman, and that's season 5, and it's got the big 12-second countdown warning.
Yep.
Because their portrayals.
Man, book reading.
And it's just one joke after another. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. And of course it goes really wild because it is, very British humor, craziness going and zaniness.
Mm.
And like that's one of the things I like is that there's no real down moment. There's no skit where you're like, I'm just going to sit this one out.
Yeah. I just watched this one maybe like an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I like especially like the Orville and Wilbur Wright sketch.
That's like the Wright brothers at Kitty Hawk.
That is like that. I watched. I was like, wow, this is like straight out of Monty Python right here.
Yeah, yeah.
It is. I mean, even had Sam the Eagle doing the straight man, Michael Palin. Or
yeah. Well. Monty Python was a big influence on them.
Yeah.
John Cleese helped write the episode that he appeared in.
Yeah. And in fact, we showed tonight after the Rita Moreno episode, we actually showed Scarlett the mouse piano. The one where Terry Jones has 23 white mice that are secretly trained. A minor.
Yep.
Now,
when I saw that, I was like, oh, so that's where the Muppet phones came from. And one of the things is, you get the 12-second warning of, you're going to watch something that's dated and not so great. And then in the opening number, Kermit turns around and goes, have I ever been accused of good taste?
I love the fact that the Sultan is played by the Swedish Chef.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. You could definitely tell that they would, if the improv allowed to be aired, they would just run with it. Because there's that thing where Marty Feldman is in drag and he like lays over the Sultan and then realizes, he's got to cover up his armpit.
Armpit hair. Yep.
I didn't realize that was the last episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't have the order because I have it. That one is one of the ones on my Time Life collection, which is why I noticed that they did cut a little bit out of it for the Disney version.
No, actually, there were 3 episodes after that one.
Okay, I'm just going by the Disney Plus order.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably not exactly the same order.
Probably not.
Yeah,
but yeah, they did cut a little bit out of the final number for the Marty Feldman. And you don't lose too much, but it's sad because, when they brought people on, they would ask them, after they'd been on for a while, they'd go, which is your favorite Muppet that you'd like to appear with? And I'm pretty sure Marty Feldman said Cookie Monster.
Yes.
And so that's why they did the Arabian Nights, was so that they could do Open Sesame and bring out the characters from Sesame Street. But one of the things that we lose from Disney is when they say Open Sesame, the door opens and then the characters come out singing the theme from Sesame Street.
Right.
And then they go, and now to Marty, and then they run over, and they had to cut out the part of them singing Sesame Street.
Fucking snowflakes.
Well, rights. It's the same reason that they can't do the Brooke Shields episode is rights and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that at the end, like all the Sesame Street Muppets are in the box with Statler and Waldorf. How can we tell you how to get this Sesame Street? We can't even get out of this box.
Yeah, I remember watching this episode when it first aired, and it was so much fun because I didn't know who Marty Feldman was at that point. I hadn't watched Young Frankenstein. And so when we're showing the kids these episodes, I had to tell Scarlett that, like, oh, no, he was Igor. And then...
Yep.
You don't forget that face.
No. It is very... Well, I mean, especially the eye.
Yeah. It's Yeah, not just the eyes, his whole face, but yeah, definitely that's part of his thing.
Yeah. He even makes fun of it with Cookie Monster. I don't know why I like it.
Yeah, exactly. But he also, I mean, but you mentioned this earlier, Mike, about the Muppet, and Catherine, you had mentioned this as well. They actually made a Muppet specifically that looked like Marty Feldman, and it was a good likeness.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes
they were really
those
good.
likenesses aren't great, but that one was really good. So I also found that episode interesting too, because it actually has a through story, like a story throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, they got more into that in season 5. Like Liza Minnelli was like a whole plot line.
Okay. Well, I haven't watched that one yet. I remember her Copacabana. I remember that, but I gotta watch that one. I gotta watch the Debbie Harry one too, because
the Debbie Harry one's amazing. Yeah, Liza Minnelli. Yeah, I smile and show my legs.
Yeah, no, I remember the Debbie Harry one because it was like such a crush on Debbie Harry when I was like 8 years old. So.
Oh yeah, so did Brian Henson.
Oh,
and of course he was working behind the scenes on the show at the time, and they tended to take the guest star out for dinner, and Brian Henson and his dad being obnoxious, Jim just sat Brian next to Debbie at dinner, and Brian was just like, ah.
Can you sign all of my records, please, even the ones that aren't yours? Oh wow. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that episode. I gotta watch more season 5. It was kind of a tough one to be like, we're having so much fun like in season 2 and season 3 that it's like, we gotta branch out. We gotta watch something different. I want to go through a night where we watch nothing but people we've never heard of, like Avery Schreiber.
That one is so insane.
I don't even think I saw that when we bought the DVDs like 13 years ago when they came out. I think we skipped around then too, and Autumn was just like, I don't even know who that is. Let's skip.
No. Avery Schreiber is really funny. He he gets in a battle of insults as a gladiator.
Ah. That's great. All right, so now I'm gonna watch that one. So, Mike, how about you?
I was actually watching a bunch of episodes the night before, but I almost went with Victor Borga because I just love Victor Borga, but like some of the sketches between, I'm not a huge fan of, like the babies. Yeah. So I decided to go with Kenny Rogers. Which another one that has the 12-second thing. Okay. Mainly because I think for a couple of numbers. One, there's like a running through story of a bunch of Arabian people doing for oil.
Oh yes.
In the studio, specifically in Kenny Rogers' dressing room.
Right.
And also, that one has the song "Put the Lime in the Coconut." Okay. And the doctor becomes a very stereotypical witch doctor.
Yeah. So do the nurses. Yeah.
Going through the nose type of.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. Well, Kermit sprains a flipper in the first bit, so they have to. So they do lime in the coconut because he has to be in the hospital bed.
And then thing after thing after thing, Kermit just keeps getting beat up throughout the entire episode. Yep. They even they put him in a hospital bed that they got from Muppet Labs, and then they have a news report where the Muppet newsman says all the Muppet Lab hospital beds have been recalled. They were off the toaster line, and bang! And Kermit lands right on his desk.
Man.
But the performance, the version of "No One to Hold Him, No One to Fold Him" is beautiful.
The Gambler.
Yeah.
It is Gambler. A great version. It is one of the best versions of Gambler I've ever seen. It's fantastic.
It's straight, and they tell you exactly. It goes along with the actual story of the song. They're not like interpreting anything. They don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and it's not like a little bunch of goofy Muppets in it. It's just they're actually old people Muppets.
Yep.
Sitting along with them.
Yeah, I still remember that one. I have to go back and watch that one, and I do remember that. I remember like the gambler actually like fading away, literally just disappearing.
Yep.
Yeah, he does, and then his spirit comes back and does a big dance.
Mm-hmm. But that's another one with where it's got veterinarian hospital, and in the bed is Kermit. And Miss Piggy is like fussing all over him, something fierce, and Janice makes some joke, and it's like a not very good joke, and Kermit comments on it. She goes, "Well, it's my only joke."
It's my only joke. Yeah. His heart stopped.
On the topic of Miss Piggy, how weird is that voice in the first season?
It's because they were switching performers.
Oh.
Yeah,
Was
sometimes
not the voice.
Not always. No, sometimes it was Frank Oz. Sometimes it was Richard Hunt.
Oh, okay.
They were switching back and forth. It was before they'd settled on Miss Piggy. They,
right.
and she turned out to be so amazingly popular, and they just went with it. They went with Frank Oz eventually, but yeah, no, it was they were trading off between the two of them.
Interesting. I was unaware of that. I just kind of felt like they hadn't found her voice yet.
They hadn't, because they had two different people doing it. Yeah, it was a little bit, if Fozzie was going to be in the sketch, then they would have somebody else doing Miss Piggy.
Okay.
It's kind of like when they hadn't quite figured out what Janice's voice would sound like. Like, I think the first season she sounded really different.
Yeah, she did. And she was more a utility player more than she was part of the band. The band, right. I don't really feel like really kind of started. They've always been there, but I kind of feel like they really more so got started in the second season.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll say, just in terms of just overall puppetry, both Floyd and Dr. Teeth are really interesting in how they design those puppets. The Floyd's eyes are just like, there is no Muppet like that with those little like roll up eyes.
Yep.
And then Dr. Teeth with his long arms, but he's still like he's a two-person.
Yeah,
puppet.
he's one of the
someone.
Yeah, someone running the hands like Fozzie and Rolf.
Or the Swedish Chef.
Yep, Swedish Chef actually has his hands.
Yeah.
Other people, their hands are in something, but yeah, Swedish Chef is just full on his actual hands.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying that it always very striking when you see Swedish Chef come out and you have to say, "Oh wow, he's actually got real hands."
Yep,
that's weird.
I love it too when the performer forgets to take off their wedding ring. Because it's happened on a couple of occasions. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, there's a Mrs. Swedish Chef.
Yeah, or a Mister. We're not going to judge here.
Yeah.
So, but he, I just talking to my kids about how, the Muppets and just how they're not just, it's not a puppet show.
No, it transcends that by far.
The innovations are just insane. And a lot of it is it's just as simple as we need somebody to work the hands and somebody to work the mouth.
Right.
So they don't all have those rods on the.
Yep. Have you done the Senior Wentz's Bruce Schwartz episode yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah, Bruce Schwartz's puppetry is pretty amazing.
I remember, I haven't watched it, but I remember watching when it first aired, the Mummenschanz episode, because that's just terrifying. Here's toilet paper!
Yeah, no. Bruce Schwartz's ghost story is very frightening. I would be at least for younger children.
Right.
I remember that one. That one freaked me out.
Problem, so.
Well, yeah, because Alice Cooper is very silly, and they also, they also season it up because they have they have Robin singing "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" in the middle of it. But yeah, we were talking about the fact that Jim Henson knew he was crossing lines. He brought Alice Cooper on, even though "School's Out" was banned from radio play at the time.
Right. Yeah, that episode was just crazy. My kids loved. I think it was my son's favorite episode.
Yeah, that's a good one. In my Time Life collection, there's one episode that one disc that I like to watch at Halloween every year, and it's Vincent Price, Alice Cooper, and Marty Feldman.
I watched Vincent Price today as well. That's a fun episode.
That is a fun episode. It's definitely very, very old. Yeah, one of the things, Dave Goelz, he was performing Gonzo, and he didn't like how sad Gonzo looked, because Gonzo's eyes were very sad. We were talking about, the designs. And after season 1, he took Gonzo back to the shop and gave him the eyes that had the expression so that the eyelids moved. And that really changed him a lot.
And on the topic of Gonzo, I'm astounded by how many trumpet gags you can pull. They are recycled. I did notice in one sitting
there's some.
They do recycle some of them, but for the most part, wow.
Yeah. By season 5, they'd given up on giving Statler and Waldorf new lines to say, and they just had a song. Oh yes. If you think that one's hilarious, you should see Sam Eagle and Elton John.
Oh yeah.
He's just like a stolen car.
Motivator wearing wigs and
high heels
and tights.
Hey, look! I got this painting of Mozart that Elton John just gave me. I love the high heels and tights.
And you'll be eating your hat, right, Sam? I love in the first season the Wayne and Wanda stuff. That was Sam's contribution to culture. It was Wayne and Wanda. Plus, they're church people.
Yep.
Actually, Sam the Eagle's conversations with Marty Feldman was fantastic.
Oh yes.
I had forgotten what a prominent character Sam actually is throughout the run of this show.
Yeah, and he would be on Fox News tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd have to look up which episode it's on, but there's one where he talks about his family. Kermit's like, "Don't you have a home?" He's like, "Oh yes, I have a home. I have a wife. She flew the coop." And I have 2 children who never write to me. His daughter ran off with an owl, and his son is studying taxidermy. But he's like, but let's talk about the family values on this show. So it's like he's got a terrible home life, but he keeps trying to enforce values. It's like, yep, there you are.
Yep,
there
he
you
is.
all are.
I love the episode 2 where he really pulled that Joe McCarthy thing. It's like, I have here
a list
of all the animals that are conservationists. The mountain lion, the badger, the American bald eagle. Never mind.
But that being said, I do love Sam the Eagle. He's just a great foil for everybody.
He really is. Oh, Sam's song is great. It's I can see that it's on season 4, episode 18. Let me see.
The Rudolph, while you're looking that up, the Rudolph Nureyev episode where he's getting really excited and can't even pronounce who Rudolph Nureyev's name is or what he does. He thought he was an opera singer.
Yep.
That was the Christopher Reeves episode.
Yeah. No.
Sam's song.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yeah, that was when they announced that Disney Plus was going to have those episodes, and I was like, "Oh, finally! I've been wanting to watch this for so long because it's one of the ones that wasn't released. I'd had it on video cassette because I taped it off of Disney when they had it when they were running the Muppet Show in the morning, and then I got rid of those tapes, and then it was like, oh, I don't have Christopher Reeves, so it's been so long since I got to see that one. And it's one of the things that was fun is they always seem to talk to the people about. It's like, is there something that you aren't known for? Because it's like, oh, Christopher Reeve can sing and play piano. For crying out loud. Don't you? And James Coburn can play piccolo.
Oh.
And the gong.
Did not know that.
Yeah, the piccolo is a little more impressive than the gong to me, anyway.
Yeah.
And I do have to bring up the fact that my coworker is a massive fan of Sylvester Stallone, and he loves the Sly Stallone episode.
I think that one's really funny.
Yeah.
It's like, why doesn't Sly do more comedy, frankly?
Well, he did in the 90s. It was Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, an Oscar. So,
yeah.
So.
But yeah, that was a great episode with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. So the episode I chose, I'm sorry, are you done with Kenny Rogers?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Oh well, I do. My favorite joke in Veterinarian's Hospital, though, it's like Piggy's like, I'll be with you and like until your last breath. Did he hear me, doctor? I think so. His pulse just stopped.
So the episode I picked, again, another one with a 12-second disclaimer in front of it, due to, I think, insensitive portrayals of gypsies, maybe?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think a lot of things, yeah.
Yeah, was the Peter Sellers episode.
Yes.
Peter Sellers, I kind of mentioned this like once before on the show. We talked about famous dead people, but Peter Sellers has always intrigued me. Just in terms of the way he just vanishes into every comedic performance he does. And in this show, he does so many of them. You get a Clouseau thing at the very beginning where Gonzo's throwing knives at him. You get a Dr. Strangelove, which is him giving Link Heartthrob, or am I pronouncing that right? Hogthrob. He's giving him like a deep tissue massage. And it's just, you can tell it's just the hand through the table and everything else. Yes, okay, so I'm going to just do this because you'll feel that. And
he literally ties up in knots.
Yeah. Well, he Link ends up in a little better shape than Gonzo does when John Cleese works on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Oh no, this one too. It's uneven. But I love it. Even like there's this really weird song at the end of the Peter Sellers episode, the cigarettes and whiskey
and wild women.
And it's funny because again, it's just he disappears into the makeup and everything and just becomes just that person. And you can tell it's him somewhat.
Yep.
But the show really did a good job of demonstrating his comedic genius.
Well, part of that was the fact that, one of the things that they were doing around that time was those wall bits where, Kermit would talk with the guest star and they would just talk about things. And when Peter Sellers came on, he said, I don't want to do that. I can't be me. I can do anything else. I could be Queen Victoria, but I can't be myself. So the writers wrote him up a Queen Victoria bit.
Yeah.
And they even make a joke about that because Kermit's like, you can just be yourself. Like, I don't know who I am anymore.
He's like, there is no me. There used to be a me, but I had it surgically removed. And yeah, so they make a joke out of it, but that was really like Peter Sellers is like, I don't know how to be myself. I only disappear into my characters.
Right, exactly. And it's just it's interesting too because I really wonder had they waited like another year with Peter Sellers if you would have gotten a Chauncey Gardner style character in there as well. Have you both seen or either one of you seen Being There?
Nope.
Never even heard of it.
It's probably next to Dr. Strangelove, I think the best thing Peter Sellers ever did.
Okay.
I highly recommend you check it out. It's very much a product of its era. It's
so
also
there would be a 12-second window in front of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. But there's also like it's an Oscar bait style movie, but they put a blooper reel at the end, which hindsight tells us is probably what cost Peter Sellers the Best Actor Oscar that year. So definitely, it's a great movie, and I'd be very intrigued to see how Chauncey Gardner is a simpleton who only does what the television tells him to do, and I think that type of character would be really interesting to integrate with this cast of characters.
Yeah.
But what we got was fantastic too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I
The
know, like,
sobbing violin.
we watched this Watch Mojo list on the best of the hosts, the Muppet hosts, and Peter Sellers was in there.
Mm.
It's like I think Elton John was listed as the best host they ever had. This is according to Watch Mojo, but
I mean, I like the Elton John. I don't think I'd put him in my top, but he was he was a good host.
Yeah, he was a great guest star, and one of the funny things was, they were like, "Oh, he's going to blend in great because he's got those wild outfits, and we're all Muppets." And that was when he was getting out of doing the wild outfits and dressing, and they were like, "Can't we just a little bit longer?"
Yeah, I mean, like, during the closing bits, like they were all in the big huge get-ups, and he comes out in a suit and tie.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a fun episode because I mean they had full range to his songs, and just goofy little crap like him and the crocodile singing Crocodile Rock.
Yeah,
it's great.
Crocodiles. How many times have I told you? Don't eat the guest star.
in the opening number. That's the thing. It's not just don't eat the guest stars. Don't eat the guest star in the opening number. You're allowed to eat them later. And also, it's like, isn't this the worst? This is the worst song you've ever heard. Isn't this a terrible song, Elton? I didn't think so when I wrote it.
That's a great song.
And it goes. It's like, well, it can sound good.
Yeah, that was a Jet.
It was Betty and the Jets.
Betty
and the Jets.
Yeah.
Which I should remember because I've seen Kingsman too.
Yeah, Elton John showed up to the studio in Donald Duck costume, creating confusion.
Very nice.
Oh man, yeah. No, it's interesting too because I know how difficult Elton John can be to work with, and I'm happy that he had a good experience with that. John Cleese is in that list of top hosts, and he you said it, Catherine. He helped write that episode.
Yep.
The Steve Martin episode, they decided not to put the canned laughter in there. They just let everybody on set laugh at Steve Martin's jokes.
I watched that episode today as well. I was like, this is like one of the most unique episodes I've ever seen because they could just threw all of that out the road. It's just auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very silly, and it's just the performers laughing, the Muppet performers laughing at Steve Martin.
Yeah.
I also love the fact that they actually had Statler Waldorf on stage doing a bit.
Yeah, they did a few things on stage, and that was one of them.
I can't remember what other whichever performers were on that list. Rita Moreno was on there. Julie Andrews was listed on there.
Oh yeah.
The Julie Andrews episode is very charming.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's wonderful. I would think Carol Burnett would be on that list. That episode won an Emmy. Really? Because that episode won an Emmy for the. No, she didn't. The writers of the episode did.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good fun one too.
Yeah, I love Carol Burnett, so I think that would be pretty good. Again, we're working our way through all of these. There is, I think, 100 episodes.
They had 5 seasons, and the reason they stopped at 5 seasons because they didn't want to go into the point where they were continuing to drag out the show and it got bad.
Right.
They were like, let's stop while we're good.
There are, I think, 120 episodes total.
Okay.
And I think 118 are on Disney Plus.
Right.
There's
the only two episodes that aren't there. One for copyright reasons and one for child sex crimes reasons. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 15 count
that episode.
The 15 counts of child pornography that Chris Langham was found guilty of might have an issue with that.
No one's begging for that episode, and if you are, re-examine, please.
Go watch John Cleese instead.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I you know what, and honestly, I think maybe they probably stopped too because they were in the midst of starting the Great Muppet Caper.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
they did a special episode Um,
Ooh.
they did do a special episode where they were showing clips from the Great Muppet Caper.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and I don't think that's in the Disney Plus collection either. I'd kill to have a copy of that. Because that was a good one, because they would like show a clip from the movie to sell it up, and then they were also doing like, it was just a movie themed thing, so they were like, you know, doing Silent Strawberries, and which is starring the Swedish Chef and Beaker as Death. Me. I am the angel of death.
I'd love to see that.
That'd be awesome.
That one's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I just, you know, the funny thing is that The Great Muppet Caper is my kid's favorite Muppet movie. And it almost is all because when everyone's making excuses for why they can't go help Kermit, Fozzie's just a shame. Shame on you. Yeah, I am so happy it's like Disney Plus in the last, this has been my savior this entire like pandemic. Disney Plus has kind of been there for us. And that's not hyperbole. I really feel like there's always something on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. Friday is my favorite day of the week because we got a new episode of stuff and they drop new stuff.
And yeah, I pretty much every single of my lunch breaks, I'm popping on like an episode of Gravity Falls or Star vs. the Force of Evil or The Owl House. I mean, there's always all these shows that I wanted to get caught up on, and now I can.
Yeah, and you know,
and the Muppet Show now.
And now we got the Muppet Show. Exactly, we got the Muppet Show. We'll have, you know, you get all those Marvel cartoons too. So it's been fun, and you know, this weekend I don't know, Katherine or Mike, if either of you guys are doing Raya and the Last Dragon this weekend.
Actually, I'm looking on trying to see if there's actually a theater that I could go to see it, because I really want to see this one in theater.
Yeah,
just what I saw at D23.
We're gonna watch it on Saturday. Me and the kids take out, you know, support our local business Saturday, and we're gonna watch that because I can justify the $30 because you know that is cheaper than 2 adults and 2 children going to the movies.
Right.
So, and we've only done it once before, actually twice before, if you count us buying Onward, when they kind of like proactively released that on VOD. But we also did the same with Mulan. We also added that to our premium. So, and we haven't watched it since.
I still have to get around to watching that one, actually.
Yeah,
You're the one who's so excited to watch it.
I know, I was. I got distracted by new shiny things. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? Next week you got, Falcon Winter Soldier, and then like 6 weeks after that you got Loki. So
yeah.
Oh, I am.
By
so
the way,
excited.
Kermit is a Boston fan.
He's a Sox fan.
He's a Sox fan.
It's not easy being the Green Monster.
Yeah.
So, anywho, well, thank you, Katherine, for joining us. We know if we're talking Muppets, it's like it doesn't feel right if we don't have you here to talk with us.
Yep. Well, come on, that's my specialty.
That's your thing.
Your
man.
shirt, your settings right there.
Yeah. I gotta get me a Muppet shirt. It's like one of the few of the properties that I love that I don't own a shirt for.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a Muppet shirt. But I do have a Geek Salad shirt.
Very
you
nice.
can get on TeePublic by going to teepublic.com and typing in the keyword Geek Salad Podcast.
Segue.
We have a new design. Well, we don't have a real new design yet, but I just came up with a couple of character armatures for both Todd and Jim. I got to get Cicerone figured in there somehow. So Original Recipe Mike, we got to design new T-shirts.
Cool.
So
get one of these guys.
I'm here to help with the transparent backgrounds.
Get one of these guys before they're all gone.
Ooh.
This is classic now.
For TeePublic. Well, that shirt's not that shirt's a classic. That's not going anywhere.
Oh,
yeah, no.
So, TeePublic prints all their stuff. So it's not like it goes out of print. Anywho,
yeah, we'll just keep adding more.
Yeah. So, Mike, Katherine, and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. You might have heard of us. You can get us wherever you can get your podcast from. Check out our latest 2-part episode. Not on this channel, however, because part 2 was completely cut off from YouTube for copyright infringements.
Shocking surprise.
Shocking surprise. We do music episodes, yes, but we talked all about the music of 1991. Part 1 is the singles. Part 2 is the albums. Both are available for streaming. So enjoy listening to those on your podcast app of choice. You can also check out all of our cool exclusive video and content here by hitting the subscribe button, giving a little thumbs up, and the bell notification too if you want to be notified about our weekly output. Tomorrow night, the plan is to do another retro record review where myself, Joe, Todd, and Jim talk about the 1977 Fleetwood Mac album Rumors.
Nice.
Which is,
I've heard rumor about that.
It is. Ooh, it's a good album. But I won't spoil it. We're gonna get into that discussion tomorrow. So definitely
spoiler. He likes it.
Also, what do you think about the Muppet Show? Leave us a polite comment down below. We love getting those awesome comments. What's your favorite episode? Who is your favorite host of the Muppet Show? We want to know all that stuff. Also, let me throw this out there. What is your favorite intro? Is it the season 1 intro, the 2 and 3 intro, or the season 5 intro?
Also, who's your favorite Muppet?
Good one. Yeah, who's your favorite Muppet? Inquiring minds want to know. If you want to follow us on the socials, we are most active on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. So check that out there. Eventually, I'll get around doing an Instagram. I'm just lazy. So
I've got Instagram. I've never used it.
I don't even have Instagram.
I set it up for work, and I never use it either. It's like it's there, and I follow people, but why? Which is, I don't take a lot of pictures. So anyway, I think that about does us. I think we're all good. So until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
I'm Katherine.
Go forth and be nerdful, and we will talk to you later. Bum, ba-da, ba-da, bum.